To speak for yourself, let's move on to LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. Both led their teams to the second round of the playoffs over the weekend. Joined now by Uncle Jimmy. So, Uncle, who's been more impressive in the playoffs, LeBron or Kawhi?
Look here, man. Neither, nor.
Love, hate.
Dick Van Dyke wouldn't be nothing without Mary Tyler Moore. You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, not yet. Not that old.
So here we go again. Look here, man. This thing didn't just start with LeBron and AD or Kawhi and Paul George. See, this is that part of history that they don't teach y'all about, man. Okay. Oh. This thing right here goes back, man. This thing goes back to the days of Batman and Robin. Green Hornet and Kato. Okay? See, y'all too young to remember this, man, but it was a time back in the day that Batman and Robin had Gotham City on lockdown. Kind of like LeBron and AD got the NBA right now. But see, then the Green Hornet and Kato popped up on the second season. And see, y'all don't know. Do you know who played the part of Kato?
Not at all. No. Oh.
Marquise's older brother, Bruce Lee. Okay? I'm trying to tell you, man, they popped up on the second season and beat the brakes off of Batman and Robin.
Where are you going?
And that's what's going to happen to LeBron and AD. Batman and Robin is going to get the brakes beat off of them in the bubble, and Gotham City will be owned by the Green Hornet and Kato.
That wasn't history. That was just history.
First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds, and the best-dressed man on morning television, Brandon Tyrone Marshall.
Brandon
Guys,
great.
the bar has now been set for fashion. The bar is up there. You either meet it
I'm at my house, so I'll go
or
change.
you come in below. Now, you know what? We actually need you. It's just a thing to say.
I don't have dress pants on. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all
now
right.
you
They
took
only
it too
see you
far.
from the
No
waist
dress
up, man.
It was
Who
great for a
cares?
second. We got a fantastic show for you today. Start in the NBA. How about Little Thunder hoping to force a Game 7 against Houston? Chris Paul would say after the game he wasn't ready to go home just yet. CP3, 14 of his 28 points came in the fourth quarter when the Thunder needed it most. That, along with Russell Westbrook's 7 turnovers, including a couple costly ones late, proved to be the difference in this one. OKC pulling out the win, 104-100. They force a Game 7. That'll be Wednesday night. All right, Nick, let's look back at this game. Did you think this was more about Chris Paul being clutch, or was it more about the Rockets once again wilting under pressure?
Well, listen, I want to give all due respect and all credit to the point god, Chris Paul. He's unbelievable. And he has willed the Thunder to this point in the season. This is why he was third in my official MVP ballot. This is why, despite the fact that he has far more playoff, his teams have been part, I should say, of far more playoff flameouts than playoff upsets or successes. This is one of the greatest players and greatest closers and greatest leaders in league history. So credit to Chris Paul. But the Rockets should be up 6-0 in this series. Their 3 wins, they dominated the Thunder. Game 3, they're up 5 with a minute left. Game 4, they're up 13 late in the third quarter. And last night, they're up 6 in a closeout game with the ball with 4 minutes left. And their offensive possessions from that moment in the final 4 minutes with a chance to advance were this: Harden missed 3, Russ missed layup, Harden turnover, Eric Gordon missed 3, Russ turnover, Russ layup, Russ airball, Harden missed 3, Russ turnover. Good night, good luck. And in the midst of that, Chris Paul is bombing threes and doing Chris Paul things and slapping folks on the butt and being a general pest who's just awesome. And so this is the problem, Brandon. You have a historically great player in James Harden. You have a generational talent in Russell Westbrook. But both of these guys throughout their career, the one bugaboo is playoff decision-making and execution at the very ends of these games. And last night was a perfect storm of bad for this Rockets team. I still think they win the series, Brandon. I picked the Rockets in 7, so I feel fine about that. But they could have won every single game in this series, and all the close ones have gone the Thunder's way.
You just don't want to mess up your bracket, Nick. For the most part, everything you said was dead on. No, that's exactly what it is. Let's just admit it. You just don't want to mess up your bracket. You're still picking these guys to win in 7? After watching that?
Like, come on, here's why, Brandon, I think just real quick, tell me what you think. I think the Rockets are better. I just think the Thunder are the best closing close team in basketball they were throughout the year. And the 3 games that have come down to the end, Chris Paul just takes over and is the best guy on the court in those spots.
For the most part, you were right. It's more about Chris Paul and this team being clutch than it is about the Rockets. You know, this team, you said it. You made the point. This team all year has been clutch. They've been the best out of everyone in the NBA in clutch moments. What are clutch moments? Under 5 minutes within 5 points. They are 30 and 15 in these moments. Chris Paul is the best player in clutch moments. He's had 150 points, 150 buckets in these clutch moments. So when you look at it a little closer, you shouldn't be surprised. Now, yes, I understand the Rockets, they went all in on James Harden's skill set. They went small ball, and it hasn't paid out for them. Now, do I blame them for doing that? No, you have a once-in-a-generational time player where you have a guy who's probably top 5 in all-time scoring in the NBA. But at the end of the day, what they did didn't work. Losing Capella didn't work a couple years ago. But when you look at the Thunder, this is what the Thunder has done all year long. So can they win it in Game 7 as far as the Rockets? Yes. But do they have what it takes to win a championship? Absolutely not, Wilds.
All right. So I don't want to spin it too far forward, but tomorrow night at 9 o'clock might be the beginning of the end of the Rockets franchise as you know it. Because look, Chris Paul is going to come out of this way. Either if he wins, it's going to be great. He took the Thunder further than anyone thought. In the bubble, he's provided unparalleled leadership that we've never seen in sports. So he's doing it on and off the court. But if Chris Paul wins, this is bad for everybody, Nick. Harden's legacy takes a huge hit. Westbrook's legacy takes a hit. And granted, I give Westbrook a little bit of the pass. He's on a minutes restriction. He's still hurt. D'Antoni's already talking about the Pacers. He's not talking about. We're already hearing about D'Antoni going to the Pacers. The front office, we heard some rumblings from the owner earlier in this year. That's going to change. Analytics will change. And you know what? Chris Paul knows it. Chris Paul, he's a very conventional player. He knows how everything's done, but this is not how you line up for free throws at the end of the game. Usually box out. You remember it from high school. That is not how you do it. That's not how you do it. You don't just stare at your opponent straight in the face. After the games,
by the way,
that's not just an opponent.
It's non-traditional. Non-traditional.
That's right.
After the game, Harden was asked about it, and he said, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, and Wilds, if people have fallen asleep, look at the score bug. It's a 3-point game with 4 seconds left. Rockets have a timeout. If Gallinari misses that free throw, it's the most important box out of the season. And Chris Paul is instead engaged in psychological warfare.
Can we see that again? Look at Harden's face.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point because it wasn't meaningless. The game wasn't over. But to Wild's point, and listen, folks assign me a loyalty to Houston because I used to live there and because I'm friends with Daryl. But I can be unbiased on this. Almost everything Wild said is correct about this being a fork in the road moment for the Rockets franchise. I think Daryl has done a brilliant job, and at the time, I think most people supported the Chris Paul-Russell Westbrook trade because CP3 had trouble staying healthy and Jenna because of his age. But if the
That's
season
why, and
ends
that's why he's
with
staring
Chris
at Harden that way. That's why he's staring at him that way. This
Exactly
is personal.
right. 100%.
This is personal.
Yep.
They didn't lose that game because they went small ball, though. We know that. We'll discuss more of that coming up. Let's stay in the bubble, though. Heat Bucks game 1, and this was the Jimmy Butler show. Career playoff high, 40 points for Jimmy Butler. And the Miami Heat beat the Milwaukee Bucks. They were just excellent on defense for the final 3 quarters. Giannis with only 18. He taking 1-0 series lead. Now here is the star of last night's game, Jimmy Butler, afterwards.
I mean, say what you will, but I told my teammates I probably wasn't going to pass the ball. I made a couple shots, and they said, you know, that's fine with me. I don't know if it'll be like that next game. I hope Tyler's the one that's in a position. He feels that the rim is just so big that he can't miss, or Gorn, or Bam. I'm telling you, we got a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys, and guys are so comfortable, so confident. We're okay.
Did you ask Bud to take Jimmy late?
To guard him?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Why would you ask that?
Is that something you want to do going forward?
No, I'll do whatever coach tells me to do.
All right, Nick, bigger
Awkward.
story here. What do you think? Jimmy's big night, a little bit, or Giannis's very pedestrian night? Which one? Bigger story.
Yeah, listen, Jimmy was great. He had 27 second-half points on 11 shots, and somehow he goes from being a legitimately bad to terrible three-point shooter in the regular season to just, I mean, vintage Thunder Dan Marley in these playoffs. It's unbelievable what he's doing. But the story is Giannis. This is